You're watching Northwest Florida's news station. This is Channel 3 News at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carolyn Serta. The recent surge of COVID-19 cases prompting states, cities, counties to re-implement COVID-19 protocols in the U.S. and around the world. Even the CDC reversing its guidance on masks for those who are vaccinated. Tonight, our crews are looking at the breaking new policies that are being brought back in Northwest Florida and the push to get college students vaccinated as federal agencies and companies hand down vaccine mandates. Plus, you'll hear from a couple infected with the virus after being fully vaccinated. Channel 3's Olivia Iverson kicking off our team coverage in Escambia County. There is a continued push for COVID-19 vaccines tonight as more unvaccinated people are hospitalized in the county. Olivia. We're having some trouble there getting Olivia, so we will try to get her later in the show. Now, Escambia County also relaunched its COVID-19 dashboard today. The county says they're bringing it back because of the rise in hospitalizations. That dashboard you see here only displays local hospitalization data, showing 113 people with COVID are in county hospitals right now. Now, hospitalizations in Alabama also on the rise. The state now has more than 900 people in state hospitals for the virus. That's up from a little more than 200 people in the beginning of July. It's a number the state hasn't seen since February. Doctors say it's a combination of unvaccinated people, the Delta variant causing that increase in patients as well. Just 34% of the state's population is fully vaccinated. Florida is seeing the highest COVID-19 case totals in the country. The CDC says the state is accounting for about 1 in every 5 new COVID cases in the U.S. The state logged over 73,000 cases over the past week. The weekly total of new cases is now 4 times higher than it was on July 1st. Healthcare workers say the surge of cases is being felt at hospitals.
The increase started happening so quickly, and it's multiplying so fast every single day. We can't open enough beds fast enough to meet the demands.
U.S. health officials say a majority of infected patients in hospitals are not vaccinated. The CDC is reversing its mask recommendations. It announced today even those vaccinated should wear masks in indoor public spaces. And this fall, the agency wants everyone in K through 12 schools to wear a mask. That's teachers, staff, students, and visitors. Still, it recommends schools return to in-person learning. Dr. Rochelle Walensky says they were hopeful more people would be vaccinated before heading back to school, but that just is not the case. But Governor Ron DeSantis pushed back against the idea of masking in schools. This was at an unnoticed roundtable yesterday with medical experts opposed to masking children. As Jake Stofan tells us, the doctors blamed masking children for higher rates of mental illness and cast doubt on their efficacy.
The governor's office didn't provide notice of the roundtable until roughly 6 hours after it had already ended. A recording shows the discussion focused on the same topic that resulted in another roundtable being removed from YouTube in April, masking children.
Participating doctors cast doubts on the effectiveness of masking in schools, and a Los Angeles child psychiatrist blamed masks in part for a 300 and 400% increase in depression and anxiety in children.
The masks are nothing more than a symbol of fear and anxiety.
Democratic Commissioner of Agriculture and gubernatorial hopeful Nikki Fried called the roundtable one-sided.
And look, if he's not going to come in and he's not going to have a mask mandate for our state, at least give people the tools to make proper decisions.
The governor also said data from last school year showed there was little to no difference in the number of cases between schools that enforced masking and those that didn't. Reporting from the state capitol, I'm Jake Stofan.
Now, we asked the governor's office why this event was closed to the public and the media. DeSantis' press secretary told us the entire roundtable discussion is on Rumble. We're going to head back over now to Channel 3's Olivia Iverson, talking about the continued push for COVID-19 vaccines. Of more people, of course, hospitalized in the county. Let's get back over to Olivia live now.
Well, Carolyn, just a few hours ago, Baptist released their newest report showing that of the 96 COVID-19 patients they've treated in the past month, 85 of them were not vaccinated. This is a 31 patient jump from the COVID-19 patients they reported on Friday, 28 of those 31 unvaccinated. Meanwhile, 113 COVID-19 patients right now among the area's 3 major hospitals. Now, Baptist Hospital says they're releasing this hospitalization data because it's essential to proving that the vaccine is preventing serious illness from COVID. And some facilities are actually changing their policies right now following this spike in cases we're seeing. Both West Florida Hospital and Santa Rosa Medical Center now restricting visitors to 1 person per patient. But not all the facilities tell me they're changing those visitation rules. Ascension Sacred Heart remains at 2 visitors, while Baptist remains at 1. I talked to a local man who tells me he nearly ended up admitted into the hospital with COVID. His family wasn't vaccinated and took a trip to Nashville for the 4th of July.
My daughter, they both had the COVID. They didn't have the pneumonia symptoms, so they were able to help me out through the process. If it wasn't for my wife, I imagine I'd be dead. Mm-hmm. She helped me through it all.
Right now, we don't know how many people in each of our Northwest Florida counties are dying from the virus from week to week. The State Department of Health stopped including COVID-19 deaths by county in their weekly reports, but tells me they do send that information to the CDC. Now, I asked that man whether he regrets not getting vaccinated, knowing the tough month that he's had battling the virus. I'll share his response tonight at 6, as well as what his message is to the unvaccinated community. Live in Pensacola, Olivia Iverson, Channel 3 News.
All right, thank you, Olivia. Now, out of the more than 1 million people in the U.S. fully vaccinated, the CDC says around 10,000 vaccine breakthrough infections have been reported. Channel 3's Lauren Craycall spoke to a Northwest Florida man who says he and his wife are 2 of those cases.
Back in April, Marcus Troyer received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, living life thinking he was in the clear of contracting the virus. All changed when he tested positive last week for COVID-19. Troyer, who's in his mid-30s, says what started off as a mild cold, body aches and chills, turned into the sickest he's ever been in a matter of days.
I actually ended up going to the ER on a Thursday. Just because the symptoms weren't getting any better, it was just getting worse.
Thankfully, he's recovered, but now his wife is in a similar situation. She got her shots back in December and tested positive Tuesday. He says she's feeling a little better, but she's not completely out of the woods yet. Coming up tonight at 6, hear more from Troyer about him and his wife's experience battling the virus despite being vaccinated and the message they want you to take away. Reporting in Northwest Florida, Lauren Craycall, Channel 3 News.
Now, as COVID cases climb across the state, some colleges are offering incentives for students and staff to get the vaccine. Florida A&M University, for example, is offering cash and other prizes. Channel 3's Brent Carney is live with what colleges here in Northwest Florida plan to do to try and increase vaccination rates. Brent.
Well, Carolyn, officials here at UWF say that the vaccination rate among college-age students is low, and they don't exactly know why. Now, UWF says they plan to partner with CVS for a vaccination blitz. This will be on August 25th and August 26th. Now, UWF tells me this gives students an opportunity to get vaccinated if they haven't already. UWF says they're not requiring masks, vaccinations, or social distancing when students return to campus in the fall, but they will start a vaccine education campaign to increase vaccine confidence.
We know that it's important to build trust in students and other campus stakeholders around vaccinations. And the way to do that is really to provide relevant, credible, accurate information about vaccinations, about vaccine safety, and about where to get vaccinated.
And UWF says they do plan to offer swag bags with wellness items and other prizes for students who take part in the vaccination program as well. But coming up at 6, I do speak to Northwest Florida State College about what they plan on doing to try and get their students and staff who haven't got the vaccine a shot as well. So all those details and more coming up tonight at 5. But for now, live at University of West Florida, I'm Brent Carney for Channel 3 News.
With the federal government issuing new guidance on masks, state and local governments are weighing whether to do more when it comes to vaccines. Some officials already choosing to make them mandatory in certain settings. As national correspondent Christine Frizzell reports, the decisions are wide-ranging and bringing passionate responses from all sides.
Protests like this one outside Idaho's State House in Boise are popping up in cities nationwide as those outside and in respond to the flood of vaccine mandates now being imposed.
This idea of discriminating against and firing employees based on private and personal health decisions flies in the face of the principles of liberty and justice.
More than 600 college campuses have already announced COVID-19 vaccines will be required for students, employees, or both, including at Ohio Wesleyan University, where students who refuse can transfer or take a leave of absence.
It just seems like maybe it's bordering on the edge of being unethical. It's my senior year. Why would you put me through this?
University officials arguing the reason is simple: to keep those on and around campus safe.
We feel a moral responsibility to the community as a whole, and in particular to those who are most vulnerable.
This back and forth battle is playing out in schools, state and local governments, and now even higher up at the federal government. The Department of Veterans Affairs was the first agency to issue a vaccine mandate, but probably won't be the last, with COVID cases on the rise.
We cannot go through what we went through over the past year. We can't. You can't. I can't. The economy can't.
New York City now requiring city workers to get vaccinated by mid-September or submit to weekly tests, though some complain that comes before vaccines are even FDA approved.
The fact that it hasn't been approved raises a concern. Why isn't the federal government approving this yet? Our members are up in arms over this.
A new chapter of the global pandemic prompting a new wave of concerns over health, safety, and freedom. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
That brings us to our question of the day. Should there be restrictions for people who are unvaccinated? To weigh in, just head over to our Twitter or our Facebook page at WEAR TV.